I would rate the Scapegoats recording experience and the research experience about like a good 7 out of 10. There were some instances where I didn't want to record, but I think that was more due to the complication of the shot rather than because I didn't want to do it. So, hi, Manisha. Like I said, I just released a video called Scapegoats. How am I feeling today? I feel really nauseous. It's not fun. It's not a fun feeling. I want to talk about scapegoats and I want to really talk about the process of making this video because it was kind of complicated. Let's set the scene, right? It's summer of 2024 and I am thinking about releasing the song Scapegoats. So the song's ready, it's done, and I'm like, yeah, okay, great. Now I need to think about the video and the visuals to it. But I think what I wanted to do with this is I wanted to tap into something that I've done in every single, but I haven't always acknowledged, which is that I'm pretty campy as a person. A lot of people say I have theatre kid energy, and that is totally correct. I do. But I think also I try to tone it down because not everyone responds to that. Not everybody likes the big sort of showstopper type thing. I try to keep it low key. But then I think there's another aspect as well to me that I don't really tap into is that I do like to experiment and I am quite a DIY artist. I don't care about if things look perfect or if the lighting is totally in focus and things like that. I'm more about the end product and what it means to people. So that's the mindset that I'm going in. I'm going in with I'm going to make this a sort of a production, but it doesn't have to be great. It just needs to work, right? So that's the mindset that I'm going into. And then the next thing we need to think about is the theme. What's the theme of this project, this video? And if we listen to Scapegoats, it is a acknowledgement of the reality that we're living in and how other people refuse to live in that said reality in order for them to achieve a normal. And that's basically the song and summed up in a sentence. And so I wanted to reflect that in the music video. And so I kind of went to YouTube and I started doing my research. And I'm going to be so honest here. I'm not very good at planning videos. Like, give me a concept and I can work with it. I'm not very good at the starting point thing. And I think it's good as a creative to acknowledge that. I am awful at it. In fact, I'm actually quite bad because my issue is I always start at the end product and I sort of reverse engineer. Um, there have been police sirens all day. Do your crimes on a Monday. Sunday is the day for rest. Have a starting point, then jump to the end and reverse engineer to the back. And I think because I get anxiety when I don't know what I'm doing and then I end up doing everything and it just becomes a bit of a confuddled mess. But with music videos, you can't always do that. Like you have to sort of work slowly to an end product because things might change along the line. And that's lesson number one. Things change along the line with music videos. So again, lesson number two, do your crimes on a Monday. Jesus Christ. I had the theme in, I had the setup, but I just realized that I couldn't figure out where I needed to go from the starting point. Had the theme of distorted reality. How do I do this? So I asked my friend Jay. Hi Jay. Is like a film writer, and this is not really their bag. And I feel like now thinking of it was a little bit unfair of me to sort of ask them, but they still did it, and I really appreciate that because they're helping a mate out. When you have the understanding of film and the constructs of film and how film works, then I find that you are able to understand like all sorts of visual media, like and how this could be achievable for someone with like low resources or someone who is COVID safe, things like that. I asked them, okay, can you help me with a theme and help me with a scheme? Like help me with like coloring and help me with like props. Like what am I up to? And they showed out, and I'm really impressed. So one of the videos that I referenced, or sort of, it gave me a starting point, was Brie Runway. Now, if you don't know who Brie Runway is, get to know her. That girl's a superstar. Even though I wish she was COVID safe, but that's whatever. Her videos always mean something, which I really love. Even if it's just like a silly video, you know, two girls in a car. They're just two girls in the car, but it's always a moment with her. And the video I'm specifically talking about is Big Rats, and that's one of her earlier videos, and it's talking about discrimination. I think it's in the music industry, but just in general, being a black woman, and talking about how the industry likes to exploit black people, and even if they like put them on top, it's still a bit like, you know, there's exploitation there. And a lot of it is like, it could just be a simple, she's in the office, and then this happens, and then this happens, but everything's kind of bright and glitzy and strange, and it's almost like a over exaggerated, borderline Willy Wonka-esque version of like this story being told, and I really love that. So I thought, okay, starting point, let's go. The next video is
Eve Tumor.
all of them, because they're so cool. I keep referencing
Eve Tumor,
but I just kind of want to be them. They're so cool. But like, they have stories in their videos, but I think more importantly, they're very camp, and they're very 18 plus, not suitable for work. And I love that, right? There was something very theatre kid energy about East Tremors videos, very queer, but more importantly, I think there was something just quite visceral, like it got you. But it wasn't just like kinky and cute. There was like something really dark about it. And I really love that. And I think that's kind of what I wanted for Scapegoats. I wanted people to see blood. I wanted people to see visualizations of death, things like that. I took that, and the themes were like different shades of red and black and white, which is why throughout the whole of this moment, you're only seeing me in black and white and red, because that is the theme, right? But I think the issue I was having is, how far do I go with this, right? Because yes, Scapegoats is campy, it's kitschy, it's whatever. At the same time, it's grounded. It's probably one of my most grounded songs. There's very few metaphors in this song. It's actually quite straightforward. And I didn't think the sort of campy imagery would work for every aspect of the song. So what I did instead was I thought I would do a switch around, and I'd have one half of the video be this sort of distorted reality, right? It's especially when you get to the first shot, it's me peeking through the curtain and let you in, right? This is what's happening. The other aspect of the video is I wanted to show everyday stuff like washing your hands, you know, making the bed, being in the bath, and but how those small actions, how there is still a distorted reality that people aren't facing, even though they're trying to get back to normal, right? I thought, okay, but how am I going to do that switch around? How am I going to do a bit of a switcheroo? And then I was watching a YouTuber who I'm not even going to name because he's a bit of a cunt, but it was on my autoplay and I didn't mean to, so my bad. He talked about this band called Chat Pile, and I think the specific video I was talking about was Funny Man. I really love a rock band particularly, who do peculiar things, and they are a rock band that do peculiar things. Because in this video, they just show stagnant shots. It's just shots of a house and a bit of the outside, and nothing changes. That's it. It's just shots of the outside. And what was really cool is that you just watch it. It's just like, oh, it's a video. So you kind of are more inclined to listen to the song. However, then you watch a video again, and then like just something changes every so often. There's something weird in the video, and I really like it. I really, really, really like it. I'll take this moment to say that I've put a playlist that me and Jay did, and I'll put it in the description, because yeah, there's so many other inspirations that came into the music video. I mentioned in the cover art thing that I'm really into 60s horror, and Stanley Kubrick, I think that's more 70s, but I actually left Stanley Kubrick alone because it actually kind of, you film people are confusing. You started bringing in geometry into absolutely the fuck not. I am just gonna, put that in a little box. One day I will study it. Just it ain't today. Yeah, Stanley Kubrick, horror films, and also there's something called creepypasta where it's like things that are just creepy and odd and just things that are a little bit peculiar. I love that type of stuff. You know, I'm a Five Nights at Freddy's girl. I'm a Slender Man girl. Um, you know, and I kind of grew up in that era where creepypasta sort of took form on the internet, and I think that sort of I wanted to do something like that. This video was actually going to be a lot darker, but again, skill, and I don't have much of that, right? I think one inspiration that I didn't talk about, and it actually was the starting point, but I didn't know where to go from here, was The Simpsons Treehouse of Horror. It was Marge coming out and being like, "Hi, blah 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 blah. Please tell your kids to go to bed because this is not really for children." I ended up doing something similar in the intro of this video, and I had a whole speech. It was like inspired also by V for Vendetta, the comic, not the film. And it was talking about like the imagery and like how people who allow their peers to perish in order to get on with their lives. That's a conversation that's going to come up later, but whatever. And I had a whole speech there. I had a whole speech planned, and then it was gonna go into the video, and then you would have the red sheet. So it like had the red curtain in the speech, and I come out in this black dress, which was gorgeous, and I came out, said the speech, went back, and then this red sheet would drop, and it'd be like, okay, we're getting the video starting now. But the sound fucked up. The sound was completely fucked. I think I've uploaded it to YouTube, and if I haven't uploaded the full video, I will do that soon. But I'm just so pissed off because I can't remake it because I'd have to reorder this dress, and this dress that I rented, I didn't own because we are being sustainable in the stripling household. It's expensive, and I thought it'd just be a one-off thing that I could put on my taxes and call it a day, but I'm just not doing that again. So that sucked. How the video actually starts out is a red sheet, and it's me enticing you to come into my world, right? This is what I'm feeling, right? And the first few scenes to somewhat like might be just Anusha is doing bondage, and it's not. There's actually a theme here. I wish I had made Angel Wings, but I thought the premise would be a bit too literal. But the premise is supposed to be like a fallen angel. So you know the Jesus story, the story of the Bible, with like the angel who fell from heaven and blah 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 became the devil. And so the idea is like, you know, I'm trying to live my life and whatever, but I'm being pulled in bondage. Bondage being a metaphor for society, and society, even if anytime I try and break free and I try to move around, basically I get hurt, right? Anytime I try to be myself and do whatever, I'm getting hurt, which is why at the last bit you see hand with blood, which is very hard to do because having to operate a camera with a bloody hand is very hard to do. But anyway, I become the devil or the scapegoat. Even though the devil is looking like the bad character, the villain, in the next few scenes of the chorus, you know, the "you better kill our scapegoats," like, actually, what is bad or good in retrospect when this person, the scapegoat, is being like put in bondage? So it's sort of like it is a threat, but who says that person's a bad person, so to speak? Without me chatting shit, that bit is just the scapegoat talking, right? That's just the scapegoat talking. This is my terrain, right? And then fades to black, and the scapegoat's always in the background. That's why that shadow is like a transition, right? And then you get that transitional period, and you wake up, and then you're like, oh, I'm gonna wash my hands. I need to shake that off of me and get back to normal. And then that's why there's a transition also where the music dies down. It's actually you just hear the person trying to drown it out, trying to I only scream a few screams. I'm trying to get rid of this. You're trying to get back to normal, and you're making your bed, you know, you're cleaning and what have you, but no matter what you do, the bodies that lay cold, you watch it unfold unbothered, they will always be there. whether it's literally physically, like shown in the video, like where it's supposed to be like a dead body under the sheet, or if I'm washing blood off the hands, and etc. etc. Funny enough, one of my friends, Dizzy, pointed out that like the contrast between what the song is talking about and the actual the shampoo, the hand wash says care and protect, and they're washing blood off the hand, and it's like you say one thing, you know, you spout the words care and protect, but you're washing people away, you're washing the blood off your hands, so you don't have to deal with it. And yeah, that's the point. It's supposed to be a contradiction. So that's the second half of the video, and then it ends with Anusha in the bath with a bunch of sad faces, and that was just supposed to be a joke because I really didn't know how to end this video. I was like, how the fuck? I've done all this eccentric bullshit. How am I supposed to fucking end it? So I just ended it. I thought, well, I'm gonna have a bath, and there are gonna be loads of balloons in the bath. I just found it really funny. I just found it a really, really funny way to end a video, just for me, just to laugh at myself. So basically, it's like people living with death. That is how the video is supposed to end. Bathing in death. You're bathing in sadness, in all of our sadness. And I guess the balloons could be ghosts. That could be an interpretation of it. I just thought of it's people's emotions around the world, but that's a way of looking at it. But like sitting in the bath of death, sitting in the bath of people's sadness and people's despair, and like you're just sitting there, right? You're doing nothing. Now, this is 20 minutes and I've got to edit this today, so I'm going to be quick. Trials and tribulations. What was hard? Let's start off with the fucking balloons. Recording yourself in a bath full of balloons is actually very hard. I actually think one of the things I need to get is a monitor for my camera, because trying to maneuver the camera, get the right shots, get it into focus, getting the camera into fucking focus, very hard to do. Very hard to do. And I was working at night time, so it was also lighting as well. That's going on to my next point. Is lighting is really hard. Like I have lighting now, which is great. I also DIY a lot of lighting. Like rather than buy expensive camera, rather than buy expensive lighting, I just brought a torch for a spotlight. I also brought what was it called? Oopsie. It's called like a Marianne. Ugh. That was a spoon. Whatever. I'll put it here somewhere. And this light, I got it secondhand again because we're not contributing to the use of resources in like that is being exploited in Congo. Anyway, so I buy everything secondhand, and so I bought my light secondhand, and I just DIY'd a lot of light and just used different lights in different ways. I wanted to add shadowing and highlight some things and get some things out of focus. I found it really difficult to figure that out because the way it looks in person is not what the camera's always going to pick up. And so sometimes you actually need to change the camera settings for it to pick up certain things. Again, learn a lot in this process. This video took about 2 months to do, even though it could have taken one. And I actually think it was just anxiety, which in this whole process, I've realized I'm actually quite an anxious person. Every time I make visual media, I have to contend with the fact that I do not have all this equipment. And a lot of like what you're being told people are using, it's a lie, right? And I mean that in the most sincere way. Like whenever you say, this is shot on iPhone, but there's £1,000 light behind them, or like this is shot on iPhone 16, but I have a bunch of other camera equipment that makes it look good. Like it's one of those things where I'm recognizing that actually I do not have all this equipment. That's okay, but that means I'm going to achieve it in a different way, right? It's going to be different. I've got to think outside the box in terms of what I want to achieve, and that is difficult. That's hard. So I just need to be confident in myself and say, hey, you're doing okay. And at the end of the day, I did not mean for all of that to rhyme. At the end of the day, like, you are still making art. This is like DIY grunge at the end of the day, right? This is the most vague video that I've ever made, apart from the bird one, but that was more like a vignette of clips. This video had a story and a theme. Obviously, as you can tell, I thought it through. But I didn't know how deep I wanted this story to be. Like, do I give everyone names? Do I introduce characters? Do I have lore? And then I had to think, Anusha, you are not Janelle Monáe. It's okay. It's cool. Just keep the video simple. Maybe I'll do it for the next one. I don't know. But I think that's kind of where I leave it, is that like this video has been so much fun. I want to know what you think, what you see, what you hear when you watch this video. Comment down below and, actually subscribe. Subscribe and see what else I'm doing. 'Cause I'm doing quite a lot. So I'm very proud of myself for the way everything has turned out, and I didn't overexert myself. Like, I think the burden video, I didn't enjoy it, but I didn't really promote it because I was so tired. Like, both videos actually, I was so tired. This was the first time that I like incorporated my disability into it, and I'm like, I'm gonna do things that work for me, and that's what made it so much more fun. Like, I'm really, really proud of myself of how this turned out. I will say, I think next time I want to have something a bit more specific to work with, because as much as I'm going to keep it vague and I'm not going to, introduce law, I do want to study someone like Stanley Kubrick, and maybe I'll do geometry. I was about to say geography. I'm not good at either, but I'm worse at geography. So, but maybe I'll look at a bit of geometry when it comes to angles, and maybe I will rent out some different equipment, or even just figure out a way to make it from scratch, or use different mediums like webcams and things like that. Let's think outside the box with this one. That being said, watch the Scapegoats music video. It's gonna be somewhere in this corner. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking with me if you stuck with me through this very, very long video. And yeah, let me know if you like these longer videos, and I'll do them once a month, because I ain't doing it every week. Let me tell you that right now. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sticking with me. Listen to Scapegoats. It's on all my music channels. Go to my website, which is anushamusic.com. Make sure you go down to the description, because there are some GoFundMes you can support. Just chuck a fiver into each of them, and let's build it up. Let's build up momentum, support people in our society, and watch out for a new video, which will probably be out in a week or two's time. All right, bye.